though. I'm tired of folks, you know what I'm saying? Them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and nobody want to hear it, but it's like this, the South got something to say, that's all.
What up, comic book fam? Thank you for waiting. We got a little technical difficulties, but we got it figured out. And I got a little sneaky surprise that I'm excited to bring up for you. But first, let's bring up the man of the hour, the man behind the Comic Book Community Awards. He put his sweat, blood, and tears into that. And while it was not perfect, it was way better than I thought it would be and way more fun and inclusive than I thought it would be. And my goal is to let it be more inclusive this year because I really enjoyed the energy of it. So without further ado,
you down with LCS? You down with LCS? You down with LCS?
What up, Brian? Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I've been excited to talk to you about your work on this award show.
I appreciate you having me on. Unfortunately, I ran into some computer problems right before we were about to go live. So
hey, that's how these things go, man. Yeah. Don't worry about it. But you got it figured out, and that's all that matters. We're here and we are going. And I've got a surprise for you, and I picked a little special clip up to introduce him. So here you go.
Have you ever transcended space and time?
Yes. No. Time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, what up, Dank? The Dank Show is in the channel. We've had a rebranding of that channel.
Yes,
go check it out if you haven't checked it out lately. Looking forward for the return, man. What's up, Dank, man? Thanks for doing this.
Good to be here. I've been gone for a while. I've been in a weird place. I'm in a weird place, but I'm coming back. You know, the weird things are happening, but you know, I'm ready to come back.
Hey, it's a weird world. COVID has done that to us, man. I don't. All that don't matter now. You're here, right here tonight, and I appreciate it. Shout out to the chat. I really appreciate the homies coming through. Unfortunately, South Brawl Brad, one of my homies, couldn't make it tonight, but it's all good. Real life is always more important. We've got a question here from the comic vet that I want to definitely get back to later when we get into that. Shout out to my comic book corner 2.0, Scotty Vaughn. That's another Dank Comics fan right there. So shout out to him. Brother John Comics. This man is in every chat that I'm in. Apparently we like all the same channels. So what's up, brother, man? Good to see you in here. Digger Jim Station, brother. Appreciate you coming through, man. Awesome. Beckermin has been my guru, my comic book guru. He's been schooling me. He's going to be working at the John Romita Jr. booth at PlanetComicon here at Kansas City, and I'm definitely going to be hitting him up for more tips because I want to get some stuff signed and graded, and I cannot wait for that. So looking forward to that. What up, Beck? Thanks for coming through, homie. Cowabunga fam. What up, White Tiger? What up, dog? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you as always. Always love your content as well. And that looks like everybody in the chat. So let's get to the man of the hour, Brian. This is about the Comic Book Community Awards 2022 in the past. We have the nominations coming up next month, correct, in April.
Yes.
And you go to CBCA.org or CBCAwards.org. It's scrolling down there on the bottom. You can go to that website to get more information about it. And that's also where you can do your nominating. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, that'll be wherever all the new information is posted. I'm going to do a video, you know, probably later this month to announce all of the new categories and changes, and then the actual nominations will open up at the end of April. But I'm going to have, video, you know, later this month that's going to detail, you know, all of the changes and all of the timeline and everything for this year's awards.
The order of the beanbag is in session. What up, Sith Lordly, man? Thanks for coming through, brother. I know he's got Batman tonight. I appreciate you jumping in, dog. I know everybody's got Batman. I got it tomorrow, and actually it might be late tonight if it works out, but I cannot wait to see that movie. But thanks for coming through. Free Key Loowee, what up, brother? That is the man for the LCS intro there, bringing that heat. So What up, brother? Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, Louis,
But-
thanks for that song. It has
Yes, it's a banger. It's another banger.
The dancing girls are very popular on my channel.
And check out his Instagram. He's been dropping some more bangers over there. We got Geek Out with Roscoe singing to Michael McDonald. Let me tell you, my man is hitting it. It's worth watching. I think they need to hit the road because my man is hitting that Michael McDonald voice. It's a distinct thing, and he's got it. Definitely check that out. But enough about all that. Let's get back to the man of the hour. What I wanted to start with really was how it came to be that you decided to do this, and what was the process that led to that?
So before I was on YouTube, before I started my YouTube channel and really got back into comic book collecting, I ran a personal finance blog for about seven years. So documenting my family story on how we got our finances together. We got out of debt. We paid off $100,000 worth of debt. So I was knee deep in the community of personal finance. So it's very similar to the comic book community. It's another kind of niche community where most are bloggers. You know, will have information on a blog, but it's grown into YouTube and videos and Instagram and Facebook. So I came from that world, and in that community, they had an awards for all of the people producing personal finance content. And so I sold the blog. I let somebody else is currently running that, my former blog. And I kind of had a gap in my free time because that was really taking up a lot of my free time. And so I started to get back into comic book collecting. I started going through my old books, and then I found YouTube, and I started my channel. And very quickly, I recognized the entertainment value, the crazy amount of work that people were doing on YouTube, editing, researching content. So about 2 months into my YouTube journey, I said, let me see if there's an awards. Do people recognize all of this great work that's going on? And there wasn't, at least not any that I could find. And, I reached out to some people, asked them about it. And so I said, why don't I start an awards for this community? And I reached out to probably about 15 or 20 people within the community, got on Instagram, DM, said, hey, what do you think of this idea? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think people would like it? I reached out to, a variety of channels, small, big, and the feedback was, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't you go for it? And then that was really, that's how it got started.
At this point, everything is rosy at that point.
Because it was still planning. It wasn't really well known. It was only until I made the first video and I kind of announced it and started the planning process for it. The feedback was positive.
Excellent.
And then it wasn't, huh?
Well, we're definitely gonna get into that. I don't want to get into the drama too quickly here. We're definitely gonna get into that though. But talk to me about what you did to really start the process. It sounds like you already have some experience putting together voting and nomination. Talk a little bit about the nomination process last year and how we decided who were the nominees.
So I had been involved in the awards in the personal finance side. My blog was actually nominated a few times, so I knew it from a nomination standpoint, but I also was involved in the committee for that awards in selecting blogs or video or content creators. So I did have some background in a similar type awards. So I said, okay, well, what are the categories? The first thing, once I knew it was a valid idea, I just started to come up with a category list. So I came up with the category list, and then when I announced those categories, it just became an open nomination. So basically, here are the categories. Here are 10 categories. Nominate whatever channel you think fits that category. And it was just an open nomination. We collected it for, I think I collected for 8 weeks, 8 or 10 weeks. I forget the exact timing of it. but they were just open for a period of time, and you could nominate anybody that you would see fit to hit that category.
I remember seeing it for a good amount of time, the nomination process. So, was there a large weeding out of nominees, or was it pretty quick and painless?
I mean, I'm trying to go back. It's a little fuzzy because I've been doing so much for planning for this coming year's awards. But I'm trying to think. I think we had a total of like 181 unique channels that were nominated, and 55 channels ended up the finalist. I'm trying to think. I think we had about 5,000 votes. So different channels that were, 5,000 total nominations, and it boiled down to 55 channels. So it was strict. Whoever were the top nomination getters in each of the categories, the top 5, they became the finalist in each of the categories. It was, I didn't make
no
any
decision making. It was just strictly a
just
numbers
top
thing.
5. Whoever got the most votes in each of the categories was ultimately became the finalist.
And once we get to the finalist, I think that's where we get to the point that Dank wants to get to. So go ahead, Dank. What's up? Get in there.
Well, yeah, and that's when things started going, kind of sideways. Was when the finalists were announced.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that was pretty surprising. I remember you bringing it up before then, and everyone being pretty supportive. I've heard of people thinking about doing something like this, and no one had the chutzpah to do it, right? So, and I thought, hey, that's cool. I like that when people just take things into their own hands and then just do it. But yeah, I was very surprised by the reaction. I was as surprised as I think you were, I guess. I don't know. When did you first hear about any, bad vibes?
Yeah, I was certainly surprised because I really, based on my experience with the community and how everybody said, oh, it's a great community, there's these AOKs, there's giveaways. Just the vibe that I got from the community when I first joined was that it was very positive. I was unaware of any, drama or negativity. And, I later found out that, there was some bad blood out there with some channels, but I was oblivious to it. I had no idea. But it really hit once I announced the finalists, because then more people became aware of it, and they were upset that they were not aware of it, or whether their channel didn't get nominated, or the main feedback was that they weren't aware of it. That's what I took away from it. So I certainly, and I've admitted this all along, I could have done a better job. I could have reached out to more channels, but to put it bluntly, is this is a side thing for me. This is a hobby. I work a full-time job. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. It's something I'm doing on the side, and so I'm a one-man show, and I can only do as much as I can. So I said, okay, I understand the criticism. Probably reached out to more channels. I could have done more posting on Instagram, those type of things. But what really got me upset was when people started turning it to kind of personal attacks. They kind of started dragging my name in, my name, just taking shots at me directly about my personality or the type of person I was. And then also a lot of the channels that were nominated were taking some heat for it became like a name calling thing. And I was like, well, if we're such this community that's so, happy and everybody gets along and we're supportive of one another, why are we taking shots at one another, over something that's supposed to celebrate the community?
Actually, I suspect a lot of us are part of a COVID wave of YouTubers, like many of us.
Definitely.
And I suspect a lot of like this peace-loving, community-building, lovey-dovey communities, part of that wave, actually. And because I collaborate with some people from the old-timers, right, in this scene or whatever, and they are very contentious with one another. They all kind of hate each other. they all are like jealous of each other. I'm just being like, I know this from like
right. Yeah, and I did.
yeah. But that's that older set or whatever. And I have found the COVID wave. We're just not exactly like that. I think we embrace our differences a little better because we came in at a very vulnerable time in society, right? So, and I wasn't actually aware of that either, because I found out about that more and more in my own YouTube thing, hearing like all this like really vicious stuff about people, and yeah, it's not really a question, but an observation.
Yeah, and then I became aware of that. Like, I became aware of some of the bad blood and some of the drama behind the scenes that I was not aware of. So I don't think the awards sparked it. I think it just brought it back up again, maybe.
Well,
yeah, I definitely threw some fuel on it.
I do have a clip with that in mind. Here is the opening to last year's show.
Please welcome Brian Brandow, founder of the Comic Book Community Awards.
Before I answer any of your questions, I know many of you are watching from all over the world. And I have received your feedback, your comments, your direct messages about the Comic Book Community Awards. And I just would like to say, get a life, for crying out loud. This is just an award show. I mean, look at you. Look at the way you're dressed. You're sitting in your mom's basement hoarding collectibles and making videos. You've taken an enjoyable hobby, an awards event that I had high hopes for, and you've turned it into a colossal waste of my time. I mean, how old are you people? What have you done with your lives? Look, you there. How old are you? What are you, about 30? Have you ever kissed a girl? I didn't think so. There's a whole world out there. When I was your age, I didn't make videos. I lived. So move out of your parents' basements. Get your own apartments. Buy your own comics and grow the hell up. It's just an award show. It's just an award show. I'm sorry. Don't worry. This whole press conference is going to be retconned.
I was not particularly a fan of that opening myself. I know a lot of people were a fan of it, but I wasn't a fan. But I do appreciate the use of the green screen and the sort of like award show effects that you put into it. I really did like that part of it. But my attitude about all of the haters, which you caught plenty of it, is when you do what we do, you put yourself out there in front of random strangers. One of the things you have to bring with is a shield of not giving a fuck what people think. And I think the best energy for you would just to have a show for the people that wanted it and were having fun with it. And the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. And that's what the haters should have got from the show, in my opinion. It was just straight apathy. Let the show be about the people that wanted it. But tell me your thoughts about, what brought about that opening. And well, I guess we got into it a little bit, but talk a little bit about what brought about that opening.
Well, it wasn't, when I did the opening, it wasn't meant to bash the community or the the haters. It was really, I was just doing my impression of William Shatner on Saturday Night Live. I just thought it would be a clever way to open the award show, because the whole, I remember watching that skit with William Shatner as a kid and thought it was hysterical, that he was goofing on, the nerds at the Star Trek convention. And so I just thought, a little bit of comedy, a little sarcasm. Let's open it up with, a classic skit that I will, try to do my best impression with it. But when I made it and filmed it, I never really thought that I wasn't taking a shot. I was trying to be funny.
Yeah, I get, and I think I was missing context. I'm not familiar with the skit, so I was definitely missing context. But we got Kyle in the chat. Thanks for coming through, homie. I appreciate it. He does say one of the common criticisms of the awards last year was that it did feel like there was a certain clique of people who were involved in the nominating process, which makes sense because it would have been a certain circle of people who would have been most aware of it. But my question isn't on this one, isn't to go back, but is to rather to look forward. What are the kind of the things that you're thinking about for this next year to try and get some more buy-in, especially from some of the larger channels that we know probably should be finalists for some of these awards?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've certainly reached out. So after the award show, so we did the award show on a Saturday night. I think Sunday, I was already reaching out to community members saying, "Hey, can you, the awards just happened. Can you provide me feedback? What did you like? What didn't you like? What did you like about, the show itself? How can I improve?" So I reached out to a lot more people than I initially did when I kicked off. So, now at this point, I just really needed feedback and to try to collect that feedback, take the criticism, good or bad, and try to make it bigger and better. And then certainly outreach more people so that people cannot say they weren't aware. I think obviously now a lot more people are aware of the awards than they were when we initially did the, year one nominations. And now it's really posting more frequently on Instagram, tagging people, reaching out to people. It's really just about communicating the awards so most people cannot say, well, I didn't know about them or I didn't know the nominations were open. It's really just making sure, we can cast, widest net as possible so that if somebody wants to be involved, they can, they can be. If they don't have to be. And there were some people who provided that feedback was like, the awards aren't for me. I don't want to be involved. Because I reached out to people saying, hey, can you help me spread the word? Can you share things on Instagram for me? Can you maybe mention it on your channel? And there were a few people that said, no, the awards isn't my thing. Good luck with it, but I don't want to be involved. And I'm like, that's fine. That's personally, that's your choice. And the awards may not be for, everybody. I get the fact that it's ultimately it's a competition, and you're going to have somebody who wins and you're going to have somebody who doesn't win. And there are competitive people. I'm competitive. I don't like to lose. But, that's not the idea, and that's not what the awards are really meant to be. Yes, ultimately somebody does win, but it's really to celebrate. So we had 55 channels that were nominated. So it's really about celebrating all of the things that they do. The great content, like I said, the editing, the comedy, the entertainment value. That's really that's what the awards mean to me.
Yeah. I've said it to you before, but during the nominating process, I kind of was like, hey, whatever. And I was really whatever until I actually caught the actual show itself. And I really appreciated the way that the best part of it for me was the way in which you brought in members of the community, and you brought in people that I didn't recognize, but I know other people from other circles would absolutely recognize. And that was the beauty of it. That was the beauty of the Spider-Man No Way Home. Everybody got a little bit of something that they wanted. Whether you were a Toby fan or a Garfield fan or whatever it was, you got a little bit of piece of it. And that was the energy that I loved. So I'm really hoping that we can get some more buy-in, maybe reach out to some of the people that were critics last year and ask them, what can we do to give you what you need to be involved with this? Because I think it could be a lot of fun, and it could get better and better the more years that we have on it.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree. And I don't want to exclude anybody. I want to have whoever wants to be involved, help be involved, whether you're helping on the committee to help form the nominations and the finalists, or whether you want to make a video for the award show, or or just supporting it by spreading the word on Instagram or mentioning it in one of your own videos. All of those things can help reach the different corners of the community. So that's the goal this year, is just to make sure that there's more. And this, like having me on tonight, is just another great reason. Maybe there's some people out there that were not aware of it or wanted more information about it, and they'll get it tonight.
That was my hope, that maybe we get some more bigger channels like the Comic Vet down here and others to maybe have you on and talk about it as well. Because my interest is letting critics have their piece, have their say, respecting the critics, and really trying to give them what they need to be more inclusive on this. Because I think it can be better, and I just really want to, have that energy that Dank referred to earlier, that love in this community. Because for me, it really is like I'm a very political and over informed person when it comes to that. And there's really no love in that game, really. There's your side and there's that side, and it doesn't really matter. Anything else, nothing else matters. And that's really been something that I just want to leave out. I don't want to know, because all you need to know is one thing, and then you decide everything else about them in that game. And I don't want any of that energy. So if you like that book or this book, it doesn't matter. You like comic books, and we're family, and the rest of it is irrelevant. And that's the energy that I'm on. But Dank, you were going to say something, brother? Oh, on mute. We lost you.
Okay, no, I'm good. You hear me?
There he's back.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, I was wondering, like, have you reached out to comic book creators, actually? Because it could be, if you reach out to channels, everyone's afraid of backroom deals and favoritism and bias and all this stuff, and that's going to be inevitable. Then that might be even why people are hesitating to support it, because they're worried. They don't want to be involved and be accused of being a shill if they were nominated or whatever. So maybe the problem is, maybe the issue could be, you reach out to comic creators instead, because then if they start endorsing it, then maybe the YouTubers will be like, oh, okay, it's because it's like, it's this weird thing where it feels like the snake eating its tail and people are not sure what's going on. So it's like, maybe you need something a little comic adjacent that isn't exactly the creators. They can kind of get more support behind it. Because it's a first year thing. Like, awards shows are kind of clumsy in the beginning. That's the history of all awards shows.
It's like your first video. I mean, my first video is trash. It's never going to be good the first time you do it.
It gets better as you go, right?
And I love the effort too that you put into the show.
That was what won me over.
Yeah. I think you won a lot of people over with that effort. But yeah, what about, have you reached out outside of just YouTube, or like, kind of?
No, I haven't. I haven't really, because it's a community award, and it's really, initially the thought was, well, maybe I'll include Instagram, and there was actually one person from Instagram that was nominated last year, but I think trying to scale it, because people ask me, well, maybe we should have a pops category, maybe we should have a card category, and it's like, I can't let it get too big and out of control. It kind of has to have a narrow focus. So I could certainly reach out to creators, comic book creators, but I'm not sure what value that would add, because it's really to celebrate the hobbyist that's on YouTube making content. So
I don't think it's necessarily about it's this weird thing that I think, because right, if it's a community, right, that then you could say that's just the viewers and not the content creators. But then if the content creators, the ones that are involved in promoting them, I mean, that's why it's getting so confusing, I think, for people, because everyone wants to know who's the authority, who authorized this, where's the authority coming from? That was the whole, I feel like that was the whole thing. Everyone just wanted to know what authority, by whose authority. So how do we by my establish
authority,
that?
Right? I'm the guy who came up with the idea. I'm the one who put it in motion. And then I think you mentioned it after the fact. I had heard, oh, well, so-and-so was thinking about doing that, and so-and-so was talking about doing that, and nobody did. I just happened to be the guy who jumped in and did it. So, I mean, if you want to beat me up because I had an idea, go for it. I don't really, I don't know like I said, I don't know how wide you could make it. Do you want to just have audience members vote, people that don't have content channels? Well, I think some of the smaller channels, start with other YouTubers who are watching their channel. It's really only the large channels that really probably have a base of an audience that are not content creators themselves. So, I don't know where you draw that line of like who could vote, who shouldn't vote. my thought was it's a community awards for the community, by the community. That's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I think there is value in reaching out to the creators, if only to just get buy-in from them. Like I said, the best part of your show last year was the buy-in from the creators who did give you content to involve with. I really thought that was really the best part of it. And with that in mind, we'll get to some questions here in the chat, but with that in mind, I did want to throw the award that Brian won at his own show.
It's truly my honor to be here tonight to present a special award to the one person who brought us all together. This award goes to Brian from LCS. The award is in honor of Brian getting shit on by the most people ever in such a short amount of time for trying to do good within the community. But, like a true hero, he threw on his cape, flipped off a few birds, and kept moving forward, innovating and adapting the process to fit the needs of the community. So with that, it is my honor to give Brian this shitty award. Congratulations, and happy hunting, everyone. Bye.
So congratulations, Brian, for that award. But I want to give the chat a chance to ask their questions now, definitely. So the first one in was the Canadian, Blame Canada. We got the comic vet in here. Will you create subscriber classes for each award? I know the answer to this question, but Brian, go ahead and address that. Uh-oh, we lost him. Oh, man, everybody's losing their mic. No. Technical difficulty.
You already know the answer to this?
Yes. And the answer is yes, there is categories for subclasses. I think the lowest one is 100 and below. And then he had categories above that. I joined the Slack group that he put together to try and collaborate. And because he's trying. The thing about getting buy-in is, it happens with me, and I have this Madden league and on PlayStation 5. I can have all the ideas for my league, but if the 20 guys in my league aren't down for it and they're not going to help me, right, it doesn't matter what my ideas are.
Wow.
Brian.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah. There he is.
All right. So we're gonna make some changes. We're expanding the categories, so we're adding categories, and most of it is that we're gonna kind of tier subscribers. So there's gonna be a few categories that are with a certain subscriber count, and like a smaller subscriber count, a mid tier, and then a larger tier. So there's definitely gonna be some changes. That was some of the feedback that I received, from the community. So that was, it's something I put in place.
What up, Bleecker Street? Look at this man for some beautiful pressing, man. I saw him press the Spider-Man book, and it was shocking how pretty that book looked, man. Good stuff, G. I know we had another question here from Kyle. Brian, what were the numbers you were working with? Like, how many nominations did you get, and from how many different people? I know you mentioned this earlier, but just to address Kyle.
So we had, like I said, we had 181 unique channels that were nominated. And we had over 5,000 nominations, individual votes for channels. But, those 5,000 equaled 181 unique YouTube channels.
Well, there you go. That sounds like a lot to me. More than I
thought it was, actually. For the first year of, voting, I thought it was pretty good. So, man. Hopefully we'll increase that number, next year or this year.
All right. And Kyle's got to be Kyle. So we'll go with this follow-up question here. How do awards actually help the community? Read this sort of sarcastically, but I think it's a fair question. How does it help the community? I have answers, but I'm curious what yours are.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it helps. In my mind, it's to help celebrate the community, right? You have people that are generating content, entertaining content, informative content, and unless you're monetized, how do you get recognized? How would your channel get recognized other than having an award? So the idea was really just to celebrate the community and the hard work that everybody, is putting into the content that they create.
And my answer would be by bringing the community together, which is really what I wanted to be about. That was the awards process, and it's the same thing for actors and all that. Is it brings the community together, lets them mingle with each other and see people that are in that community that maybe they didn't know about. And that was the really interesting part of it. I said it before, I'll say it again, was all the different channels that you brought in. And my hope is that we get to bring more channels in, which is why I would hope that we could reach out to some of the channels and maybe get some buy-in, because there was a lot. One of the big criticisms that I heard was Regie Collects cleaning up and taking so many awards. And the reason why he won so many awards is like he was one of the only people that tried. Like I think he was the only big channel that promoted it.
Yes, and I did hear back. So some of the other winners, you did have Gem Mint, you had Comic Tom, you had Bueller, Comics with Bueller. They all won, and they didn't say anything about the awards ahead of the awards, but after they won, they all recognized. Comic Tom posted something up on Instagram. Gem Mint did. Comics with Bueller, him and Bob did. Showed it on their he was on Comics with Coffee on the Monday. So they've all, after the fact, but they weren't actively campaigning. And the comments I heard, it was really from Bueller that he didn't want to, get criticized for trying to campaign for the award. Mm-hmm. And so that's why he really didn't mention it. He was for it, but he didn't want to, seem like he was campaigning for people to vote for him. He wanted to just let his show stand on its own, and it did, and it ended up winning.
Yeah, and I know he was excited to get that one win over Regie. I know I've seen him talk about it on his channel. Which I think if you want to have fun rivalry, that's that good stuff. That's that stuff I like. That's that energy I'm fun. But if you're really out here getting butt hurt, my football league is the no bitches league because there ain't no getting butt hurt in this stuff. You can't be, and that's how it should be in this. Like I tell people all the time in this game is that, for me in this comic book thing, it's all about the love. I expect nothing from any of you, and I appreciate any and everything that y'all do give me, always. So let's see what else we got in the chat here. We've got people. We got Big D Energy here from Free Key Loowee. Yes, see, that's what we want. We want to promote this thing, and I hope that we can get some funny videos. That's what I liked about it, was the people sharing videos, Comic-Chronics out there. Everybody just trying to be funny. I enjoyed it. I like that energy. Stop comments.
Yeah, it was great. I mean,
Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
I got to see all of those videos ahead of time, so I knew we had, that I had something really good from the community, and I was sitting on those videos, for a week, 10 days. So I was excited because of the effort that was put in by the community, which was great.
Yeah, and that was the thing that came through, and like Dank said, you could really see however you felt about the content or whether it was hit or miss on each thing that each person did. You could see the effort throughout, and that was really the thing that drew me in and made me say, hey, I like this. I want to see more of this.
Could you tell us a little more about the timetable? Like when is the new date? How long is the nominating period? When are, all that stuff, I guess. The changes, some of the changes.
Yeah, so we're going to have, it's going to be 12 weeks. It's basically 12 weeks of nomination, 12 weeks for voting on the finalist. And I'll outlay the whole. I have it scheduled out. The award show will be the first Saturday in December, and I'm thinking, long term that'll always be the awards. The first Saturday in December will be the awards where winners are announced, and then I kind of back it up from there. And so during so the nomination period's open, and I'm going to have a little bit of time in between, so that the committee can review the nominations. And one of the changes we're going to make this year is not strictly going to be the top 5 nomination getters will be the finalist. It could be, but we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the nominations that come in and make sure the category is well represented. So, last year there weren't a lot of female nominations, right? So we want to make sure it's well-rounded so that we are inclusive of everybody. So that's one of the changes we're going to make. It could be the top 5, and I'll disclose it. Everybody can look behind the curtains. I did have last year, before the finalists were announced, I did have committee members. I had 3 volunteers last year who actually verified all the nominations that came in. I sent them the data in a spreadsheet, and they, looked at it, and then they also validated the finalist voting. So the winners were all known to 4 people, myself and 3 others, before the awards. So there was, no, shenanigans going on. This is not what the awards should be about. I want it to be as trans.
Uh-oh, we lost him.
He was gonna say no. I was gonna make a bad joke.
Oh, we lost him. I'm gonna play with these buttons here while we're getting them back. We lost your audio again. I gotta learn how to use this StreamYard stuff.
Who are you?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing over here.
This is your first. This is not your first time, right?
Yeah, it's definitely my most in depth, where I'm really trying to do it all right. And Brian's fucking everything up. God damn it, Brian.
Is he on a phone? You on a phone, Brian? What is it? No.
Uh-oh.
You know how hard it is to get Wi-Fi in the Nexus? Like, I had to really... Oh. Station, what's up, Fable?
That might be the end of the show, folks. Brian, well, dang. Well, he's gone. Dank. I've been dying to ask you, man. Can we get a timetable? When is the return?
Oh, soon. I'm just trying to make slightly more produced things. I'm just trying to figure out what I think the truth is I took a break, and it kind of messed me up, because I took a unintended break that I didn't want to take, and now I'm like, I feel like this weird, like, pressure about coming back too. I mean, just be honest.
I understand you.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way.
I've decided recently that I'm going to stop doing things the way I do on my channel, and I know that what I've been doing, I'm not going to keep doing, but what I'm going to start doing, I haven't quite figured out yet. So I got that same kind of energy going right now.
Yeah. It's like hard to kind of pin down, like what, because that's always been the trouble with my channels. I don't know what the F I am. But I think I'm finally figuring it out.
You can so fucking tell that Dank's not know what his channel is gonna be. So obvious. Well, Brian, back. Can we hear you?
Yeah, I hope you can.
All right. Yes,
there we go.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Okay, I forgot what you were saying. What were you saying? I'm a great interviewer, guys.
I think we were talking about the whole nomination process and timeline and all those things. So, yeah, I'm running from an iPad because my desktop computer was not accessing StreamYard very well, so I had to go grab the backup. So, apologize for all the
hey, Fable, fuck that
technical difficulties.
Hurry the fuck up, Dank. I'm tired of waiting for you. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, well, anybody got any fucking questions here in this chat? Hey, Phil, what's up, brother? Good to see you in here, my man. Brian, I did have a question, Brian. What were some of... God damn it, Brian, what the fuck? Sheesh, what do you think?
Yeah,
are we going to... comic book channel when you come back, Dank, or are you gonna be something else or a hybrid?
Oh no. I'm still gonna be okay. So like I do have some plans. So basically the idea is kind of preaching comics, I'm trying to teach like life lessons through comic characters and comic book tropes, and make like kind of discussions about that, and then talk about more theory based stuff based on like Peacemaker. I want to do a whole video about like why Peacemaker is so different than anything we've seen and what it's gonna do and stuff like that. Just more theory, little yeah, just and I got a green screen, so I'm gonna do more like sketches and add more story levels within the video, you know what I mean? Like more advanced kind of YouTubing, but that requires like a lot more work, basically. So
Yeah,
outline,
no, trust me,
script,
I
all
know.
this stuff, and so that's kind of like what's.
That's one of the things
you know?
that I'm switching to is like what I'm gonna do next, whatever it is. It's gonna require outlines and scripts. It's gonna be that sort of thing. I don't know what it is exactly. But Brian,
yeah.
Am I back?
sorry,
Can you
Dan,
hear me?
Go ahead, Dan. I want to let you finish what you're saying. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I'm just like I was winging it a lot, so I want to stop winging it. Basically, yeah.
Same.
So
I've
Brian,
winged everything that I've done.
Yeah, that's all my videos. I wing it. Obviously, you can see I'm having some major technical difficulties tonight, so I'm winging this one for sure.
Hey, we're gonna get through it. Fable's hating on your connection here, though.
No, it's not my Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I'm running from an iPad because my computer was not playing nice. So.
Oh, this is such a good question, Brian. Answer my man, Key Loowee. Who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm just a guy who likes to collect comic books. That's all.
Okay, that's enough for me. That's enough. So my question before you cut out, let's see if we can get it in before you cut out again.
Sure.
What were some of the criticisms that kind of maybe you felt or you took to heart, and how are you addressing them this year, if there are any?
Well, the criticisms, like I said, I get it that the awards may not be for everybody, but the biggest one I heard was we were unaware of the awards. So I'm trying to reach out to as many people as possible, post as much on Instagram, and just try to make sure that there's awareness that as much as I can do. And I think I think that was really the other one was the nominations, right? There was some criticism about, say a channel with 500 subs going up against a channel that has, 10,000 subs. Obviously, if you do the math, somebody with 500 subs couldn't, gain as many votes or nominations votes
these people don't know how voting works. Clearly, those numbers mean nothing when it comes to voting.
Well, and that's how I felt, because I think there are certain members channels that have more engagement than others.
Exactly.
So if
that's
you have
the number that matters,
right, and I think that's why Reggie did so well. He did campaign.
There's two reasons.
He campaigned for it.
Campaigning was a big deal. Was a big deal.
But he also has a very engaged audience. When you go into one of his live streams, he's got well over 100 people in all of his live streams. So if he mentions, "Hey, go vote for me," those people take action and they go vote. So I do understand, somebody saying, well, if I only have 500 subscribers and I tell my audience to go vote and I only get 10% to vote for me, well, that's 50 people. And if he's got 10% at 10,000, so the math doesn't work. But that's one of the changes we've made, where we may not take the top 5 nomination getters. We're going to have the committee look at it. So I have a committee of about 15 people that I had more, but there were people that weren't.
I don't know if I like that, though. Why not let the raw numbers decide? Because then you're avoiding any liability or any blame for the outcome. And it does sound like it does sound like affirmative action for the finalists, which I don't think I like it.
But you said it would be transparent, right? And I wonder if that can cause trouble more than. It's so yeah.
Well, so it's the double-edged sword, right? I can't make everybody happy, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. I can't make everybody happy. So I can take the feedback, I can take the criticism, I can put it in the pot, I can stir it up, and I see what I come out with. But I'm trying to do the best to make sure that I address the criticism or the feedback and include that. But I also don't want. I don't want people to be skeptical of the process, right? So, so there's going to be, and I should clarify, there's going to be a few categories that we will the committee will potentially add some nominations to, but most of the categories will be just the the top 5 nomination getters. But like I said, we want to make sure it's the categories are well represented, that we're not overlooking somebody. So that's the part of the committee, and it's a committee of about, like I said, we had probably 20 people volunteer, and then 15 people were actually active and helping. So.
Well, I like the idea of maybe an honorable mention finalist, maybe, an extra person, but I don't like the idea of cutting somebody out that had the votes to get somebody else in. I'm not sure if I'm digging that. We got a question here from another one from Kyle. Final question. Hopefully that's a lie. What other community? You did mention this earlier, but he's asking what other awards have you worked on, Brian?
So you can look it up. It's called the Plutus Awards. It's Plutus, Plutus Awards. So they are the awards for the personal finance community. So, and the personal finance community has a con every year. So they have a 4-day event where all the personal finance community gets together, whether you're a blogger, whether a YouTuber, whether you're, create courses in personal finance. And they have, during that convention, they have a live award show, and they give away awards in a number of different personal finance categories. Could be, best investing content, best, debt information, best, their best like influencer, best YouTube channel. There's things like that the personal finance community gives awards to.
Uh-oh, I didn't see Chop in the house. What up, Chop? Good to see you in here, brother. Always good to see Chop. He is a great supporter of this comic book community, and I appreciate that, man. We had another question.
Chop is everywhere.
He is everywhere. We got another question here from Beckermin. Have you tried sandwich board advertising? Flyers under windshield wipers. How much energy are we putting into this, Brian?
If I had more time, I would, but I'm not sure that's effective advertising these days.
Well, Beckerman might be able to do some work for you here in the Kansas City area if you reach out to him. I'm sure he'd like to hustle and put some flyers under some windshield for you. So let him know.
I will reach out. Yes.
Hey, Travis, thanks for popping in. I know you had an earlier engagement. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming through. Also, another great question from Beckerman. Will there be I don't know how to say that word. Very skimpy.
Hors d'oeuvres.
I'm not sure
there it is. I see.
I'm not sure I could make enough to satisfy his hunger.
Whoa, is that a fat joke? Whoa.
Could be.
Whoa, Beckerman. I'll meet him outside. Show up at PlanetComicon, Brian. We'll talk about this face to face.
So I guess you know the people from Plutus, you called it? That was the organization?
No, I don't know the people directly. It's an actual foundation. They raise money. They're a 501c3. They provide grants for people doing education and personal finance.
They're an institution.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm a big personal finance supporter, right? I mean, and it kind of trickles over into collecting. If you can manage your money well, then you have money to spend on things that you want, the comic books or the collectibles. And so I think we obviously all are spending a lot of money on collectibles or comics and things. So I consider myself a financial literacy, champion. I worked with my local school district to help bring a financial literacy program to our school district, because I think it's so important that young adults learn about money before they're, managing money or making decisions on spending money to go to college and borrowing money. So, so that's kind of the background that I came from. And then, now I've kind of taken some of those ideas that I learned from that niche community and tried to, bring them into the comic book community.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think about my childhood. No, you cannot buy that beer, but yes, you can take out this $10,000 loan to
Right.
go to school. That makes perfect sense. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Just curious about you know how there was prizes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what if people knew what the prizes were beforehand, and then that could kind of amp up, like they're like, oh man, all these prizes, dang, better, better be
I didn't know
involved.
there was prizes outside the actual trophy. I didn't know about this.
Yes. Yeah. So what I did was I reached out to um, some of the comic book companies, not Marvel, DC, but Cover Price, My Comic Shop, Shortbox. I reached out to a bunch of those kind of companies that support comic book collecting, and Cover Price and My Comic Shop donated gifts. So My Comic Shop gave me $100 gift certificate for every winner. So that was supplied to
Wow.
each winner.
Baller.
The trophies I purchased myself. I spent about $500 on trophies and getting the
Yeah.
website up and running. So I spent a good chunk of money on the actual trophies. And then we also had some donations. Dank, you donated a slab. I had a few others donate some slabs and some comic books. I had some other comic book related material that was packaged up and sent out to the winners. So, this year I don't really, I haven't started that process yet because it's kind of early with the
Yeah.
award show being in December. I haven't started soliciting, any, businesses or, sponsors as of yet. But, anybody in the community, one of the things I'm going to open up this year is if you want to sponsor a certain award category, you can do that. So, if anybody wants to help sponsor, for the cost of like an AOK, you can be a sponsor and help fund, the trophies and some of the prizes that will go out, to the winners.
I mean, I think you should use greed. Like you just talk about, like, have a list of all the prizes that actually did go out last year, right? Because then like, these are all the prizes that went out last year, and this year is gonna be like, and people are like, oh man, maybe I should get him. Just
So,
because
yeah, so
people
we
just
had
want shit, like, and that's how people enter
yeah,
giveaway
no, that's
contests,
true.
right?
That's true.
Yeah. So
So
like,
yeah, I mean,
use
we
that.
had
Work.
$1,100 worth of my comic shop
$1,100 worth
gift.
of prizes, yeah.
Yeah, plus the slabs that were donated, plus the trophies. So there was,
Yeah.
there was
I mean, yeah, I think that could be used as an incentive to get involved, and people
This
make,
man has earned his title. He's earned it.
a troll category. Well, there isn't a troll category this year. That could be considered for year 3. But when
We'll
you
make a
see
special one for you.
when you see the categories, you can decide if you'd like to sponsor them. There is
How
there, we,
about How about, since there isn't one this year, we can let Kyle do a special troll video for the awards. I'd like to see what he comes up with.
yeah,
Think about
I
it.
mean,
Think about it, Brian. You don't. We're not. No commitments now. Just think about it.
No, I would love to have Kyle on, whether he's eating applesauce or, burning books in his backyard. I mean, whatever he
No,
wants to do. Well, I'm
never
all
mind.
for
He's
it.
passing. He's passing. He's not down. He's not down for that. Ixnay
Okay.
on that. All right. Any other questions in the chat here? We're about an hour now, so about ready to wrap this up. Unless anybody has a burning question that they want to throw out here to the Comic Book Community Award guru, the man behind it. And while we're waiting to see if we have any more questions, I do want to thank my homie Dank for coming through, man. I appreciate you jumping in for this live chat. I'm sure that your face got me just like 3 or 4 or 5 more viewers, so I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for coming through. I look forward to your return whenever this may be, and I know a lot of us in this community do. You're one of those up and coming channels that we were excited about, and we're excited to get you back.
Thanks. I'm terrible with compliments.
Yeah.
Well, it was good. I saw you. I saw you this
You're
week
good
on Evil Mike's show, right, Dank? You popped up. I was like, wow, Dank's back.
Because I got back. I was in LA. I was in LA for like 2 months, and it was like a disaster, but also beautiful, miraculous things happened, but mostly disaster. So that's why I just couldn't make any content when I was there. But but I'm like I literally like couldn't do it. So now I'm back, and I've just been thinking about it, and now I'm like psyching myself out. So, but I'm coming back for sure.
I want story time on all of that. That sounds like stuff I'm interested
Yeah, I
in.
met Kanye West. It's different things.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh, sounds like we got
yeah.
Dude,
we got some
all
stories.
Right. Don't get me started on that guy. Brian, what do you got going on your channel, man?
I'm just doing my thing. I've got my Saturday morning show that I do, The Breakfast with Brian.
Yeah.
I'm actually not going to be live tomorrow because I'm going to see Batman with one of my sons. But I'm going to I'll have a pre-recorded show tomorrow. And then I, my normal stuff that I do during the week, comic book, new comic book day stuff. I've got my Amazing Spider-Man reviews, my eBay sales. So, normal stuff that I'll be doing. And soon I'll have the 2022 Comic Book Community Awards, announcement. It'll be later this month, probably the week of the 20th or so, sometime. But I'll promote it up on Instagram and make sure I spread the word.
Yeah. Where can they find? Obviously, I've got it down below on the ticker there. The CBCAwards.org is one place. But where else can they find more information?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best place. I try to keep all the updated information on the website. It's just easier so that it's just kind of all in one place. And then Instagram, the CBC Awards handle on Instagram. I try to post any information that I have there because, obviously it's a quick, people can just look at it right from the Instagram, app and don't have to go to a website and read stuff. So.
That Instagram app.
Beckermin, I would go if I wasn't broke. I would talk my wife into letting me go, but I'm broke, dog. I can't go to that con. I'll go in there and just look at the stuff I can't have.
Oh man, I almost did. Today I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll go to a comic store while you're looking at. And I was like, no, what am I doing? I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I could go spend money, but it wouldn't be smart to go spend money.
Like,
right. That's why I haven't been to a con in a while because I just.
Yeah. Plus, I'm saving up. PlanetComicon here in April. I've been saving up for that, man. I cannot wait. In Hayek Lee is there. James Tynan the Fourth is there. Scotty Young, Colin Bunn.
wow.
There's a ton of heavy hitters at this thing, man.
Wow.
Danielson, Ralph Macchio is gonna be there. Oh, I don't care about that part though. But the comic book creators, I'm pumped about. I'm hoping to get some dope original art out of this thing. So yeah, excited about that. But looks like that is all of the questions. Thank you to everybody that came through and hung out in the chat, man. I appreciate it. Thank you again to Dank for jumping back in. We look forward to your return. Brian, thank you for all of the shit you caught, for doing what you do. And I would just say the opposite of hate is not, or the opposite of love is not hate, it is apathy. And I just wouldn't worry about the haters. And to everybody watching, I think we should just do our part in trying to push this awards out, trying to get the awareness out. And when nominations come, make sure that you're riding for your community, for your clique, and getting them in the mix. So thank you again to everybody coming through. That's all I got. Peace.
Happy Batman, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, I'm going to see
Batman
tonight or
Happy
tomorrow.
Batman.
I hear it's amazing.
From the guy with the Spider-Man suit on.
Hey, I'm in the Nexus.